of us, we think that we need a whole bunch of pushing to do evil things or to go the wrong direction in life. But in actuality, the thing that keeps a lot of us on the right path is that we got the direction that pushed us into a proper path. Other people don't get that. Does that therefore mean that we excuse the behavior of evil people, or that or worse yet, that we excuse the behavior of people who make poor decisions? No, but we understand it. There are people who it's frustrating as hell because you want to help them and you see something better in them. If you can't wake up every day and be surrounded by people with incredible potential who for some reason just seem hell-bent on sabotaging themselves, if you can't live with that kind of energy around you, don't become a teacher. Don't become a manager. Don't become an entrepreneur. Don't go into any position of leadership or direction, because that's what a lot of it is, man. You're surrounded by incredible potential. In this room right now, I am surrounded by incredible potential. And there's only like 3 or 4 people who are even hearing that sentence, because other people, your minds are going in a completely different direction because you're hell-bent on not getting anything out of stuff. It's not actually doing anything. And yet it's worse because it makes us feel like we are, and that just gives us the sense of being busy rather than being active. And I guess the real question is, how's your life going on? I mean, we can see the rubble in certain parts of Gaza. Are you missing the rubble that's in your own life, though? Are you missing the destruction you brought to your own life? Are you focusing on videos of faraway places, and yet you don't even realize the things that you're doing to yourself? Is it easier to focus on those other things rather than yourself? How do you fix the world? By fixing yourself. But that's difficult. And there's this thing there's this weird paradox in us where we don't really oftentimes think that we can fix our own lives. That's why we'll drive the Lexus and we'll pretend to be something rather than becoming that thing, because we don't think we actually can become the thing. Because we didn't have people around us maybe who believed in us, people who told us that we could actually achieve and accomplish. So we'll be incredible. We won't even just be humble. We'll be like self-deprecating. Oh, I'm too short. I'm too ugly. I'm too fat. I'm too skinny. I'm too this. I'm too that. And yet we'll think that we can change the world by sharing a TikTok. We'll think that we can actually make the world a better place overall on a global scale by changing the lyrics of the national anthem to Free Palestine. So a weird paradox. We're so humble that we're actually self-deprecating in our own lives, and yet we're so arrogant that we think we can change the world by sharing a stupid video to our 1,000 followers. After high school, I used to deliver pizza in Echo Park in Los Angeles. And man, I saw a lot of Lexuses parked outside of really crappy apartment complexes. Here's a question though, why? If you're living in a crappy apartment, having a job that's not the job you want, why would you go, and by the way, these Lexuses, probably not purchased, probably leased. It's cheaper to lease. So why would you lease a Lexus? Why would you lease a Mercedes when you live in an apartment like that? Yeah, other people see you. Man, that guy's got a nice Lexus. He must have money. He must have some status. Yeah, it's how because we're social creatures. People who say, I don't care what anybody thinks about me. Liar. That's usually a person who's folding their arms going, I don't care anyway, and they stomp their foot, mentally anyway. We all care what people think about us. Even people who are incredibly, what's what I'm thinking of? Even people who are incredibly resilient psychologically, everybody has at least some level of care. And if you didn't, man, think about how you would live. You just cut people off in traffic and not care. You would cut in line at the bank. No, you wouldn't care. But think about that kind of a personality. How far can you go in business when you need people? How far can you go in a job when you need people? How far can you go in your family when you need people? There's at least some level of caring, even if it's a selfish level. I can't be a jerk right now because I care what that person thinks because I need their business. So I have to lie to them and manipulate them. Even in an ugly situation like that, there's still a level of caring that's going on. So when the person's driving around in that Lexus, at least Lexus, they want people to look at them and go, wow, they've got some status, because they feel bad about not having it themselves. It's the same thing of like, I mean, can you understand that? Yeah, you can understand. It doesn't mean you excuse behavior, by the way. It means to understand the behavior. Just like the stuff I was saying earlier about single parents. It isn't about condemning people. It's about understanding behavior, understanding why people do the things that they do. When we don't understand, it's easy to condemn it. Homeless people, don't give homeless people your money. What are they going to do with it? They're going to buy drugs and alcohol. Not like any of you guys, right? It's different. Yeah, exactly. They're just going to party with it. What are you going to do with it? I'm going to invest. Come on, you know, a lot of times the difference between a homeless person and other people is whether or not you have a support system at home, whether or not you have a support structure at home, whether or not you had role models growing up. What's the difference between you and a homeless person? And it's easy for us to say, I'm better because I didn't do the things that they did. I'm not, hey, I haven't done this, I haven't done that. Yeah, but why not? What stops you from doing those negative things? I have a solid character. Where did that character come from? Did it not come from having a family around or not having a family around? Did it not come from access to books that you read that gave you that character? Is it not because you saw some movie at some point that motivated you when you were a little kid? Is it not the lessons you learned from Disney movies? In other words, we have this idea that I would never, and we have to be very careful when we say stuff like that. It's like when I think it's like the first or second week of class, I think I probably mentioned it to this class, I usually do. Can you imagine yourself living in Germany in the 1930s? Could you imagine yourself could you imagine whether or not you would have been a concentration camp guard if you were in the German army at the time? Do you believe that you could have done the things that those guards did? Do you think those guards just like woke up one day and twirled their mustaches and were like, let's go, or I guess twirled their small mustaches and said, let's go kill some fill in the blank, some undesirables, let's go kill some Jews, let's go kill some homosexuals, let's go kill some gypsies? Or do you think they woke up like the rest of us, went to work, it was war, and their commander told them, kill those people over there? Do you think they would just said, yes sir, boss, you got it? Or do you suppose they went through all of those same kind of gymnastics? Kill the people. But you know what? It's war. War is hell. And you know what? It's not my responsibility. I've been given a direct order to do it. And do you think that they rationalized it because they needed the paycheck or because they didn't want to be killed themselves? Or a lot of us, we think that we need a whole bunch of pushing to do evil things or to go the wrong direction in life. But in actuality, the thing that keeps a lot of us on the right path is that we got the direction that pushed us into a proper path. Other people don't get that. Does that therefore mean that we excuse the behavior of evil people, or that or worse yet, that we excuse the behavior of people who make poor decisions? No, but we understand it. And you understand that a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of times people change because of, we can change people's behavior if we change their circumstances. Not always. Some people, just evil. There are people who it's frustrating as hell because you want to help them and you see something better in them. If you can't wake up every day and be surrounded by people with incredible potential who for some reason just seem hell-bent on sabotaging themselves, if you can't live with that kind of energy around you, don't become a teacher. Don't become a manager. Don't become an entrepreneur. Don't go into any position of leadership or direction, because that's what a lot of it is, man. You're surrounded by incredible potential. In this room right now, I am surrounded by incredible potential. And there's only like 3 or 4 people who are even hearing that sentence, because other people, your minds are going in a completely different direction because you're hell-bent on not getting anything out of stuff. Or you're hell-bent on, I guess I'll leave it at that. Yeah. And it's not that people can't do. It's that for many reasons, we don't do. And a lot of it is we don't believe in ourselves. Yeah. It's an obvious answer, but it's one that we miss a lot. Why won't people help me? Because they have their own lives. It's very selfish. People should stop living their own lives and help me. Stop being so selfish. People don't wake up in the morning most of the time deciding to be good or evil. We just wake up in the morning and we decide to be. And then at the end of the day, if we even self-reflect, then maybe we'll realize that there's some things that we did that day that were bad. But oftentimes we'll find that we're really good at rationalizing it away. That, well, I only did it because of this, or I only did it because of that. Whereas that other person, they did it because they're terrible, because they're evil, because they're just a hater. They're just, you know. And of course there are those people. We make that mistake though, thinking that everybody lives at one of these two extremes. People are either intensely pure and good, or people are just evil and they're haters. But that's like the margins, man. Most people are just right there in the middle trying to live their lives. And you find out what it is that motivates people. This thing about being humble, yeah. I was asking earlier about like why it is that we have to be humble, or why we should be humble, or doesn't your world revolve around you? I mean, how much do you really care about what's going on? Oh, here's a good one. How much do you really care about what's going on in Gaza? I like to talk about it, I like to post things about it. I woke up this morning laughing because somebody sent me a video of somebody replacing the national anthem with someone singing Free Palestine. I'm like, you dumb bastard, you can't even find Palestine on a map. You don't even know where the word comes from. And yet we're so hell-bent on, this is a genocide going on there. Have you looked at it? Do you know the history? Have you reasoned about it? Do you know what's going on actually? Or are you just getting information from like little sound bites and clips? And if you're doing that, then and you're pretending to be a good person, you're really not. You're making everything worse for both sides, because you're not accepting the fact that they're actual, real flesh and blood human beings with loves and hates and passions just like ours, who are living over there, who are living this reality every day on both sides, Israeli and Palestinian. And that the things that we throw our support behind affect real life human beings. Actually, the stuff that we throw our support behind doesn't actually affect anybody. When you're up there and you're replacing the words of the national anthem with Free Palestine, or you're posting the squares, or you're sharing the videos of places that used to be there in Palestine but are not there anymore, it's not actually doing anything. And yet it's worse because it makes us feel like we are, and that just gives us the sense of being busy rather than being active. And I guess the real question is, how's your life going on? I mean, we can see the rubble in certain parts of Gaza. Are you missing the rubble that's in your own life, though? Are you missing the destruction you brought to your own life? Are you focusing on videos of faraway places, and yet you don't even realize the things that you're doing to yourself? Is it easier to focus on those other things rather than yourself? Because how do you fix the world? By fixing yourself. But that's difficult. And there's this weird like paradox in us where we don't really oftentimes think that we can fix our own lives. That's why we'll drive the Lexus and we'll pretend to be something rather than becoming that thing, because we don't think we actually can become the thing. Because we didn't have people around us maybe who believed in us, people who told us that we could actually achieve and accomplish. And maybe we don't have a reason to believe that we actually can. Maybe, you know. And of course, can you? Well, yeah, of course. People achieve stuff every day. Why not you? Why not? Oh, it's because I'm not fill in the blank. Yeah, but you're so much more than you realize, man. And you can talk to your blue in the face trying to convince people about that. But again, sometimes people are so hell-bent on believing that we cannot, that they don't see what you can. And so we'll be incredible. We won't even just be humble. We'll be like self-deprecating. Oh, I'm too short, I'm too ugly, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm too this, I'm too that. And yet we'll think that we can change the world by sharing a TikTok. We'll think that we can actually make the world a better place overall on a global scale by changing the lyrics of the national anthem to Free Palestine. So a weird paradox. We're so humble that we're actually self-deprecating in our own lives, and yet we're so arrogant that we think we can change the world by sharing a stupid video to our 1,000 followers. You know? Our priorities are completely backwards on something like that. Is the world going to go on without you? Yeah. 4.5 billion years of this. It's one thing we should have learned by now. Tomorrow's going to come. Tomorrow's going to come. I was asking that stuff earlier with Lee because there's a philosophy called solipsism. Solipsism is this idea that when I die, the whole universe dies. Now, can you prove that? No, but you can't disprove it either. You know, and that's our thing. So even just practically, though, it's true. Does it matter what the people in Russia are thinking? Not really. But it matters what you're thinking in your own world. It matters what the people around you are thinking in your own world. And maybe you can expand the scope of your own world. But until you realize that the world can and will go on without you, and by the way, that's not a bad thing. How about this? Several weeks ago, I decided to take a couple of weeks off of the gym. And I thought, no, I'm going to take 2 weeks off. I've never taken 2 weeks off before. A week off, sorry. And I was sitting there on Monday. I didn't go on a Monday. And a friend of mine we were watching something, and she goes, what are you thinking about right now? And I'm looking at the screen, and I said, right now, I'm thinking someone's getting better than me right now. Because they're there, and I'm not. She kind of shakes her head and just goes, just go to the gym tomorrow. Well, if you insist, it probably is the better thing, right? And then, why? Because it's not just that I'm not getting better. Also, what happens if I don't go? Well, the gym falls apart. It needs me. Guess what I found when I went on Tuesday? The gym was still there. I know, right? I couldn't believe it. I expected to walk up and find like a burning heap and be like, it's like, huh? And I walk in and some people go, hey, we missed you yesterday. Yeah, because what happened? Did the whole thing fall apart? Were there dogs crap? What happened here? Another thing. It was like the normal Monday. What? It's like the world went on without me? Yeah. So what that therefore means, by the way, is that, does that mean that, oh, so no one's going to miss me if I'm gone? No, people will miss you. Of course. It will be very different. It will go on. But that means that therefore what you do, it's not so catastrophic that you're going to ruin things if you don't show up one day. If you miss a day of this, you miss a day of that, take some time to yourself. Focus on yourself. The world will be there when you get back. And so if you need to take some time away for yourself to build yourself up, take that time away. The world will be there when you get back. Yeah. A minimum wage person is below you, right? Let's call it what it is. You're better than them. You make $150,000 a year. You are better than them. But they can still spit in your food, can't they? Yeah. You're not better than them. You're different from them. That's all it is. Are you more productive than them? Maybe. Maybe you're more productive. But you're not a better human being. In other words, it's about seeing ourselves in our proper place. And that might be the best way to understand humble. To see yourself in your proper place. Are you better than a minimum wage worker? No, of course not. I don't care how much you make. You're not better than them. Are you more productive than them? You might be. Yeah. Do you offer more to the world than they do? Probably. Asterisk. Right now. But who knows in the future? I don't know if anybody in here work? Nobody in here works? I feel silly having my hand up. I'm the only one who works? And even then, it's like I barely work. You think about that as a teacher, you think about that? There are 365 days in a year. We only have 181 school days in a year, which means I work less than half of the year. I have a part-time job. I've achieved my dream of having a full-time salary with a part-time job. But no, you're not, you're not, if you have a minimum wage job right now, you probably won't have one in 10 years and 20 years. If you get skills out of it, if you learn from it. That's the goal of having the minimum wage job, because it's a minimum skills job. You develop skills when you're there, no matter where you are. But to be humble is to see yourself not as better than people. And by the way, it also doesn't mean to see yourself as being lower than other people. It's about seeing yourself in your proper place. Not thinking too highly of yourself, but also not thinking too lowly of yourself. It's finding that middle ground that's difficult for so many people. The person who's helping you, if you ever, I don't know, do you go to fast food places and you get really crappy service? And it happens a lot, man. It happens more and more and more and more. I don't know if I'm just getting older and I'm just like, it ain't like it used to be. Or if it really is getting worse. I like to think it's getting worse. But why? I don't know. But I do remember working minimum wage. I did it for a long time. And then there was this great moment in my life when I asked a class what the minimum wage was, because I didn't know what it was. And they told me, I thought, that's dope. I'm at a point in my life where I don't know what the minimum wage is. That's a good time. That's a good place to be. And if you understand why, then you understand why. Well, yeah, to be humble. Is the world going to go on without you? Yes. But we haven't said this. I think this is the most important part, by the way. The world will go on without you, but it won't be the same. It won't be the same. There's going to be a hole that's missing. That's you. And whether you realize it or not, if you think like, no, the world won't miss me, you're not being humble. You're thinking of yourself lower than you actually are. The world's going to explode if I'm not here. Now you're thinking too highly of yourself. It's right there in the middle. There will be a hole. You will be missed. It will not be the same without you. It will be worse without you. So, see yourself in your proper place. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints, criticism, critiques?